Good morning, one and all, and welcome to this morning's video. So this morning I have two pairs on watch, and those are Kiwi CAD and Kiwi Yen. So I'm going to break them down for you now. So on the higher time frames, we have Kiwi CAD. I would suggest is my favourite of the bunch, which is why it's higher up on my list. On this time frame, we have a reversal. What the hell's happened to? Let's try that again. We have a reversal structure leading into this sharp area of liquidity. At the time, we weren't necessarily convinced this was moving to the downside because we had all these multiple inflection points above, and it's not usually the case that we go from a correction into a correction and then we start impulsing, but we did still have the reversal structure leading into that hook point there. Okay, and this was the one after this correction. This was the one where price found enough volume here to drop out. Okay, so that would imply that if we get to that area again, that may be where we respond from, and that's what happened. Okay, so then we move to the downside. We have this series of impulse correction continuations. What I was seeing last night, this may be invalidated, this structure, but we shall see. What I was seeing as we got this solid weekly candle there, we broke below all of this consolidation, and that potentially we were coming to the downside to take out this low. Okay, because that would make contextual sense. If we break below here and we consolidate afterwards, that suggests that price did not find enough liquidity there to send it to the upside, and that we're likely just coming down to take out that low. So that's what the bigger picture, the higher time frame narrative was showing me. At the moment, you can see we're getting some momentum to the upside. Does price have a reason to move to the upside? Well, you could argue that there is a near miss here to this high. However, it is important to note that this high is above this consolidation here. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily need to come up there, but it could be forming a move to the upside to take out that low. But this is a bit of a strange angle if we're going to move to the downside from there like that. That's not typically what we see, unless, of course, this was some kind of larger consolidation to do that, which then move lower, and that volume would likely give price the legs to actually smash through there. Does it have a reason to smash through there? Well, yes, because we have an impulse correction, okay, and the correction is very, very wide. So perhaps we're building volume here to take out this low and give us what we would describe as an inverse M style pattern like that. Okay, then maybe we move to the upside from there. So I'm just factoring in all of these things. But what I'll be looking for as of today, if we just zoom in, and for some reason my face is now lit up like the like I don't know what. It wasn't like that before I went live, but now my face is lit up like a beacon. Anyway, if we just zoom into this piece of price action, so on the daily, you can see we've got some momentum there. I was looking for potential entries underneath here, but we've moved up with momentum. So the next thing I'm asking myself is, why are we moving up? Where are we moving up to? Well, we just look at this on the 1 hour. Okay, we have a gap here. So we have this which narrowly misses here. Okay, so we have a bit of a sharp move there. Okay, and then we near miss to it, and then we near miss to it again here. Okay, so this could be a valuable area. The other reason that price would likely gravitate up towards there is because this area of value narrowly missed the back end of this. So perhaps what price is doing, and this was my thinking, I'm not concerned about these because these are above this low, but what price might be doing is it might be coming up to tap into this area of volume, which was the start of all of this, which this area of interest near missed to, and then it might also be retesting the back end of all of this, because if you look here, there was a lot of volume, and this was the base of it all. Okay, it was also the base of this little running channel here. So maybe price is coming up to retest the back end of this, tap into all of this, and then maybe we move to the downside from there. If we are moving to the upside, or we were going to move to the upside, potential long plays, I would anticipate more something like this, and then perhaps that gives us a long opportunity to get long into it within this structure. Okay, to get long, capitalize on a move up to here, to take out this high, which this high near missed 2, and then we would have that impulse correction continuation. Okay. So what I'm going to be looking for today, with all of that in mind, people are always looking for certainty. I was thinking about this just before I went live, and one of the things I do is I promote musicians. My main profession is online marketing, and one of the things I do is I promote musicians. And it's scary how much certainty people actually want in their lives, okay? To the point where I say this because I actually offer a free trial of my marketing services to people. And despite that, people will still say to me, before they've even used or even asked about the free trial that I've literally just shown them, they'll say, "Can you guarantee a return on investment?" I'm like, "It's free. What are you actually risking?" People want so much certainty in their life, and in the markets you see it all the time. People just want to be right. They want absolute. There's no such thing as absolute certainty in any field whatsoever. If you cross the road, there's not certainty. Okay, but even in my experience, when you offer someone a free trial where it's absolutely 100% risk free, they still ask questions like, "Well, how many streams will I generate? How many people will do this?" Well, I don't know. That's why there's a free trial. I can't give you information. Depends whether they like your music. It depends whether they don't. It depends whether they skip it. It depends whether they don't. But if you've got a free trial, what are you actually risking? So don't be one of these people that just wants absolute certainty from anything, everything, because you're not going to find it in the markets. Okay. And once you accept that, this need to be right all the time starts to dissipate. Anyway, that's my little rant over. So what I'm looking for today is I'm looking for a push down below this area of interest, followed by a tight 15-minute continuation. And then I would look to get short on the break or within it, because by that point, if we've tapped into this area of value and this, and retested the back end of all of this volume by way of this low here, and then consolidated afterwards on the 4 hour, for example, that would look, we would have likely a very bearish 4 hour. We would be able to see all of this on the 4 hour. It doesn't make sense for price to tap into this, which this near miss to retest the back end of all of this volume, to consolidate afterwards, okay, and then just do that. Okay, that's just not typical. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. If price just keeps going and going and going, and we end up pulling back more than, we're already at this line, you can see it's keeping going. This is why I wanted to talk about what I just spoke about, because many of you will go, you got it wrong. I don't give a shit about being right. What I'm interested in is following my rules, okay, and following what works and avoiding what doesn't, okay. And that's why I gave the example about the what I do for a living as well, what my main profession is, okay. So if it keeps going, then we would have pulled back more than 50%. We're already on the last legs as it is, and I'm not going to chase this, okay. So I've got an alert set just below the area of value. If we did get that, that would give us something in the region of 4.5, which would mean that I would be targeting, because my minimum is 5%, I'll be targeting that low down there. So that is Kiwi CAD. We shall see what happens, if anything, on this pair. And then next up is Kiwi Yen. Okay, so Kiwi Yen, this is a prime example of what I was looking at before. This is a prime example of being neutral. So we had on the higher time frames, we had the tap into that, we had the near miss to it, we break above, we move to the downside. Okay, and then we have this impulse correction potential continuation to take out this low, which this low near missed to, and then we have the wick, which near missed to all of this volume. Okay, so sometimes I think it's a good idea, if that is what's happening, to show you something which gets invalidated on the fly as I'm actually making the video, because hopefully that shows you then that you don't have to be right in trading to make money. Okay, you just have to be able to manage risk. So what are we doing now? I'm having a look at this. We're clearly getting some serious momentum to the upside. Are we moving to the upside? Do we have a reason to? Well, potentially, because we have this high, which near missed the base of all of this. So maybe this is an expansion in price, because even on the daily, you can see this 1, 2, 3 to potentially give us an expansion, which retests the back end of that. Okay. and then maybe we move to the downside from there. Maybe we're getting another bite of the cherry, as it were. Okay, but again, as with the other pair, if I was going to look to get long on this, okay, you can see we've moved up correctively. Okay, so if I was going to look to get long on this, I would be looking for something like this, a consolidation like that, just as I mentioned with Kiwi CAD, and then that would give us the volume to come back up to tap into those highs. As I said, you can see the 1, 2, 3 there. But the reason I've still got this on the short side at the minute is because this low didn't respond from anything. Okay, so when it kind of responds from nothing, okay, that gives me a clue that maybe we could still capitalize on short plays. Okay, if this had tapped into something of significance, I likely wouldn't be looking at this, depending on the context around it. The reason I was looking at this, okay, so even though we've pushed higher, I want to explain the reason why I was looking at this as an area of value, because we have this low here, okay. This came up and it retested the back end of that, so it doesn't necessarily need to come back up to there. However, this high here, okay, there was a very sharp sell-off. In fact, I would argue the sharpest sell-off in the whole move here. You could argue this one, but this actually happened quicker. And also this high narrowly failed to retest the back end of that. So I was seeing this as a potential, accumulation of volume here. We tap into that, retest the back end of this, which this failed to tap into, and then potentially we move down from there. But it's moved higher. Okay, why is it moved higher? Well, it could be doing what I just showed you on the high time frames, a move to get long. But again, that would, as I said, that would look more like something like that, I would suspect, now that we have a little bit of a base to work with there. Okay, we could be tapping into this, but that kind of looks like it's on its last legs now, because we would have retraced about 60% of the move. Because what I'm looking for today, and this may shift depending on what evolves, I'll be looking for, and this is very specific, that again, because all the alerts are going off now. So the market is full of erratic behavior today. So that's another thing you want to avoid. While all the amateurs are FOMOing into positions, there'll be a lot of FOMOing going on at the moment because of all the erratic price action. But what I'm going to be looking for is, I'm specifically, because of all this price action and because of that reversal structure, which we don't necessarily have on Kiwi CAD, what I'm looking for is a break below this wick. Why am I looking for a break below this wick? I'm looking for a break below here because initially, a moment ago, before this started happening, okay, we would have had that potential evening star formation, okay, at an area of value. Okay, so I'm having to analyze this on the fly because everything's moving very, very quickly. And that's why you need to be sharp in trading, because things can be validated or invalidated very, very quickly. So what I'm looking for is a break below here. Okay, I'm looking for a break. The reason I had that there, that area of interest, is because that was the base of what was potentially an evening star, which is now not an evening star by the looks of it. Okay, but I'll be looking for a break below, followed by a flag, 15-minute flag, and then I would look to get short. And one of the reasons is because if we consolidate, just to explain this slightly, I said that we, okay, now we've got another alert going off. Let's try that again. If we were going to consolidate, if we were going to push higher, we would like to get something like that. So if we consolidate, if we get an impulse down followed by a consolidation underneath the base of what's potentially a bull flag to push higher, which may or may not be, then that has invalidated the bull structure and we could capitalize on the move to the downside. And then in this instance, because the risk to reward would be better, I would set a take profit there and look to target that low, especially given how we've moved back up. I hope you've enjoyed this video, folks. It is not easy trying to analyze pairs as everything is validating and invalidating across the market at the same time, but I did my best. I'm going to set an alert there, and that's why I'm always on the ball, because this kind of stuff happens all of the time in trading. And the people who want certainty, who want to use my marketing services, for example, and they want an absolute certainty, they want me to tell them how many streams they're going to get, etc., etc. These people would never last 5 minutes in the world of trading, because they think that any investment offers a guarantee. There's no such thing as a guaranteed investment. And I can tell you that as someone who's become the wealthiest member of my immediate family by accepting that, there's no such thing as certainty. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. That is my video today. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again in the next one. Adios, amigos.